In old age, when life becomes quieter and the rush of the world seems to move further and further away, a time may come when you realize there is no one left by your side. Not in the way there once was. Maybe your spouse has passed on. Perhaps your children have moved far away, absorbed in their own lives. Friends you once laughed with have either grown distant or are no longer here. And in that silence, the question echoes, what now? What do I do when there's no one left? First, it's crucial to understand that feeling alone doesn't mean you are broken or weak. It's a very human experience, especially in older age. But there's also a hidden strength within that realization. You are still here. You have made it through countless chapters of life, some joyful, some devastating, and you're still standing. That means your story isn't over. Even if no one is there to witness this current page, it's still part of your legacy. And it matters. So what should you do? The first step is to shift your mindset from one of loss to one of presence. Most people focus on who's gone, what's missing, or how things used to be. But the key is to gently train your mind to focus on what remains, not in a way that dismisses your grief, but in a way that honors it. You wake up every morning with the chance to live with intention, no matter your age. That alone is a powerful truth. Begin by creating rituals that bring structure and calm into your day. It might sound simple, but small daily routines can help reduce anxiety and increase a sense of stability. Start your day by making your bed. Brew a cup of tea or coffee and sit by the window. Listen to the birds, the breeze, or the silence. This isn't about filling time. It's about reclaiming your space and your control over how your day unfolds. Rituals bring a sense of meaning even when no one else is watching. Then, focus on purpose. Many elderly people struggle with the feeling that they are no longer needed. But purpose doesn't have to come from being a caregiver or an active worker. It can come from the smallest actions, tending to a garden, writing in a journal, volunteering, or even sharing your life story online or through voice recordings. Your life experience is a library of wisdom, and someone out there can benefit from it. Start a project that feels meaningful to you, even if it's just for your own satisfaction. Next, let's talk about connection, even if the traditional ones are no longer there. Human beings are wired to seek social bonds, but those bonds don't have to be limited to blood or lifelong relationships. There are countless ways to build new, gentle forms of connection in old age. Join a local senior center, a walking group, or an online community. You don't need dozens of friends, just one or two people who see and hear you can make a world of difference. And if mobility or location is an issue, don't underestimate the power of technology. Yes, it can be intimidating at first, but once you learn the basics, you'll realize it opens up a new realm of companionship. Video calls, online book clubs, or even forums for older adults can be lifelines. There are platforms now specifically designed for seniors to meet others who share common interests, from crafts and chess to poetry and cooking. Another vital step is self-care, both physical and emotional. Loneliness can often lead to neglect, skipping meals, not exercising, or letting hygiene slip. It's easy to say, why bother? But the answer is because you are still worth it. Your body is still your home, and taking care of it is a form of quiet respect toward yourself. Eat well. Move your body, even if it's just gentle stretches. Take sunlight on your face. Keep your environment clean, not for others, but as a sign to yourself that you still matter. You may also consider getting a pet if your situation allows it. Animals don't just provide companionship, they offer a sense of responsibility, of being needed. Whether it's a dog, a cat, or even a small bird or fish, the act of caring for something that depends on you can bring profound comfort. Another overlooked but deeply important step is to allow yourself to grieve fully, without guilt or pressure. Society often rushes the grieving process or expects older people to be strong. But you're allowed to feel everything: sadness, anger, longing. Let those emotions come. Write them out, speak them aloud, cry if you need to. There is no shame in feeling. Emotions are the proof that your connections were real and that your love had depth. But don't let those emotions build walls. Let them be rivers, flowing, cleansing, and eventually calming. And lastly, revisit your faith or spirituality, whatever that may look like to you. For some, it's prayer. For others, it's nature, art, or music. Connecting with something larger than yourself, whether it's a divine force or the simplicity of the natural world, can anchor you. It reminds you that you are still part of something vast and beautiful, even when you feel alone. To live alone does not mean to be alone in spirit. With awareness, intention, and a few brave steps each day, you can still cultivate a life that is peaceful, meaningful, and deeply your own. The solitude of this stage of life can become sacred, not sorrowful. And the person you become in these quiet years may just be the strongest version of yourself yet. Now that we've looked at grounding yourself through rituals, reconnecting with purpose, and building new types of connection, let's go a little deeper into the emotional landscape of aging alone. One of the hardest parts of growing older in solitude is confronting the loss of identity. For years, maybe even decades, your identity was linked to your roles: parent, partner, worker, neighbor, friend. But what happens when those roles fade or disappear altogether? It can leave a hollow feeling like you're no longer someone in the eyes of the world. But here's the truth: your being is not defined by what you do for others. Your value does not decrease just because fewer people see it. This stage of life is actually an opportunity to rebuild your identity from the inside out, rather than the outside in. Ask yourself, who am I when no one's watching? What do I enjoy, think about, or feel drawn to when all expectations are stripped away? What kind of person do I want to be for myself, not just for others? Try new things even now. Pick up a new hobby you never had time for in the past. Paint even if you've never held a brush before. Write poems or a memoir even if no one ever reads them. Learn to play a simple song on an instrument. These acts aren't frivolous, they are affirmations of life. They're proof that you still can, and more importantly, that you deserve to. This brings us to the idea of reimagining your space. If your surroundings are filled with memories of people who are no longer there, it's understandable to feel haunted by the emptiness. But you don't have to erase the past to embrace the present. Make your home into a place that reflects you now. Move the furniture around. Add fresh curtains, different lighting, or new pictures. Create a space that feels fresh, clean, and alive. Your environment affects your emotions more than you realize. Now, let's address something that often goes unsaid: the fear of dying alone. It's one of the deepest fears people carry, especially in later years. The thought of not having anyone beside you in your final moments can be frightening. But here's something powerful: the goal isn't necessarily to have someone beside you at the end, but to live so fully and peacefully in your final years that you are at peace with yourself. You can also take steps now to reduce those fears. Create a living will. Plan out your wishes. Organize your belongings. This isn't morbid, it's responsible, and it gives you a sense of control. When you've taken care of your affairs, you can breathe easier. You're no longer afraid of the unknown because you've prepared yourself to meet it with clarity and dignity. And here's something most people overlook: service and kindness, even in solitude, can be your greatest companions. When you help someone else, whether it's a neighbor, a stranger online, or a local animal shelter, you instantly feel connected. Even if they don't know your name, even if you never speak, your act of kindness ripples outward. And those ripples, even silent ones, build meaning. Something as simple as knitting scarves for the homeless, reading books aloud at the library, or donating small amounts to meaningful causes can renew your inner sense of purpose. When we give, we remember that we still have something to offer. And when we remember that, we reclaim our place in the world. Let's not forget mental health, because even if your body is strong, a heavy mind can wear you down. If you find yourself slipping into prolonged sadness, constant fatigue, or a sense of hopelessness, it's not just part of getting old. Those are signs of depression or anxiety, and they are treatable. Reach out. Talk to a counselor, therapist, or even a support line. There is no shame in needing help. In fact, Asking for help is one of the strongest things you can do. You should also consider the power of meditation or quiet reflection. No, it doesn't have to be spiritual or tied to any belief system. It can be as simple as closing your eyes and focusing on your breath for 5 minutes a day. That stillness can be a lighthouse in the storm. It helps you come back to yourself, to the calm center that exists inside, even when the world feels distant. Also, explore legacy creation. What do you want to leave behind? Not in terms of material things, but in terms of wisdom, love, or stories. You could record your voice speaking about your childhood, life lessons, or family history. You can write letters to your grandchildren, even if they're not old enough to read them yet. Plant a tree. Donate a book with a note inside. These small acts become your fingerprints on the world, long after you're gone. Remember this: being alone is not the same as being forgotten. Sometimes, solitude is the fertile ground where the final blossoms of your soul bloom brightest. Sometimes, the most profound chapters of your story are the ones written when no one else is around to read them until much later. So yes, old age without others around can feel like a deep winter. But winter isn't just the end. It's also the season before rebirth. And if you learn how to live with courage, grace, and inner strength, even the quietest years can echo the loudest with meaning. Let's now turn our attention to something equally vital: memory and storytelling. When there's no one around in your daily life, it might feel like your memories have nowhere to go, like your stories are just fading inside you. But the truth is, those memories are treasures. And they deserve to be preserved, not just for others, but for you. Writing or recording your life story can be one of the most fulfilling acts in later life. You don't need fancy words, just honesty. Talk about your childhood, your first love, your biggest mistake, your proudest moment. Talk about the people who shaped you, the places you've been, the lessons that changed your heart. When you put those memories into words, you give your past new life. And if someday your great-grandchild stumbles across your handwritten notes or an old audio tape with your voice, you'll have given them a priceless gift, a connection to where they came from. This process also helps you heal. Often, the act of looking back brings a clearer understanding of what truly mattered. It helps you forgive others and yourself. In solitude, memory isn't a burden. It's a bridge. So build that bridge, one story at a time. Another powerful tool during this time is reconnection with nature. In the silence of aging alone, nature speaks, and it heals. Step outside. If you're mobile, take short walks, even if it's just to the front porch or around the garden. Notice the color of the sky at dawn. Watch the way birds move through the trees. Plant something small, a flower, a herb, a tomato. Tending to life, even in tiny forms, is a reminder that you are still part of the world's rhythm. And for those who can't go outside easily, bring nature to you. Open your windows. Let fresh air in. Keep a potted plant in your room. Play sounds of rain or forest online. Nature reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and creates a quiet companionship that words can't always offer. You are never truly alone when you're still surrounded by life. Let's now gently talk about the anger and bitterness that can creep in. It's natural. You may feel forgotten, unappreciated, or even betrayed by life. People who promised to be there might have disappeared. You may wonder why some friends moved on without ever checking back in. You might be carrying hurt from family members who don't visit or call anymore. It's okay to feel that, but please don't let it harden you. Bitterness is a poison that only hurts you. The people who've hurt or forgotten you may not even be aware of the depth of their absence. But you are still here, and you deserve peace, not resentment. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It just means you're choosing not to carry that weight any longer. One method that can help is writing letters. Write to the people who hurt you, not to send, but to release. Say everything you need to say. Let the tears fall. Then burn the letter or throw it away. That's your freedom. Your heart deserves to be light in these years, not burdened by shadows. Now, let's touch on something beautiful: unexpected friendships. It's easy to believe that deep, meaningful relationships are a thing of the past once you reach a certain age. But that's not true. People of all ages are looking for connection. Sometimes the most surprising relationships can form in old age, like a kind neighbor who starts checking in, a young person who enjoys your stories, or a pen pal you meet through a senior website. Don't underestimate the power of reaching out. Even a short hello or a compliment can open a doorway. Vulnerability isn't weakness. Saying, "I'd love to chat sometime," could be the start of something that changes your days. It doesn't have to be daily or even frequent. Just knowing someone out there sees you is enough to warm the coldest morning. Also, don't forget intergenerational friendships. Young people are often curious about the past, and many are starving for wisdom that only older generations can give. You might feel out of place in the fast pace of the modern world, but your experience is gold. You've lived through things they only read about in books. Sharing your life could be more valuable than you realize. Another concept that can offer comfort is this: embrace quietness as a gift, not a punishment. We live in a noisy world that teaches us constant company equals happiness. But solitude can be rich, reflective, and even joyful. When you are alone, you are free of pretense. You can move at your pace. You can eat when you want, wear what you like, spend time exactly how you choose. Try embracing mindful living. Do everything with full attention. When you eat, notice the taste. When you bathe, enjoy the warmth. When you walk, feel the air. This practice, often called mindfulness, anchors you in the present. And when you live fully in the present, even ordinary moments become meaningful. Lastly, keep hope alive. Not false hope or fantasy, but the real kind. The kind that says, there's still beauty ahead. It might be a letter in the mail, a laugh from a neighbor's child, a favorite song on the radio, or a new flower blooming outside your window. These moments are small, but they stitch joy into your life, thread by thread. This chapter of your life may be quiet, but it is not empty. It is not meaningless. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are still becoming. As we continue this journey, there's one more area we must not ignore: laughter and joy. Yes, even in solitude, even in old age, even now. You might be wondering, what is there to laugh about when my heart feels heavy and the house is silent? But laughter isn't just for the young or for the social, it's for the soul. It lightens your spirit, reduces stress, and reminds you of your own aliveness. So allow yourself moments of lightness. Watch a comedy movie from the past you used to love. Reread an old comic strip. Let yourself smile at your own little clumsy moments instead of scolding yourself. Even a chuckle while reminiscing about a silly mistake from years ago can bring warmth to a lonely day. If your mind feels stuck in a loop of regret or loss, try redirecting your thoughts with intentional joy. Keep a smile journal. Every night, write down one thing that made you smile that day, however small. A bird on your window. A cup of tea that tasted just right. A memory that suddenly popped into your head. Over time, you'll build a collection of gentle moments that help lift your spirit when the dark days return. Now let's speak about reconciliation. Sometimes in old age, the silence around us isn't just because of loss, it's because of old wounds. Fights that were never resolved. Words we wish we could take back. Relationships that fractured over pride, misunderstanding, or time. And now we sit wondering if it's too late to mend those broken bridges. The truth is, it's never too late. As long as you're breathing, there's time to offer peace. Maybe your daughter hasn't called in years. Maybe a sibling stopped talking to you decades ago. Maybe you hurt someone unintentionally, or they hurt you deeply. Whatever it is, ask yourself if you would feel lighter by saying something. A message, a letter, a voicemail. Not because you expect an answer, but because you need to be free. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. And sometimes, even if the other person never responds, the act of reaching out can heal a wound that's been aching silently for years. If you're not ready to reach out, write a letter and keep it for yourself. Let your feelings spill out. Then, with time, Revisit whether you're ready to send it or not. Healing comes in steps, and even the smallest step is a victory. Let's also talk about the importance of structure. When we're alone and not expected anywhere, it's easy to fall into a rhythm of doing nothing. The hours blur. You stay in bed longer, skip meals, or stay up too late. Days become indistinguishable, and that sense of purposelessness grows. To fight this, build a simple daily structure. It doesn't have to be rigid. Wake up at a consistent time. Make your bed. Take a morning walk, even if it's around your room. Eat meals at set times. Designate an hour for a hobby, a book, or learning something new. It may seem trivial, but routine creates stability. And stability helps your mind rest and your body regulate. You can even theme your days. Monday is for writing or memory sharing. Tuesday is for trying a new recipe. Wednesday is your walking day. Thursday is for organizing a drawer or shelf. Friday is for movie night. The goal isn't to be busy, it's to feel like life still has rhythm, like time still matters. Because it does. Now, let's touch on self-compassion. Growing old often comes with an inner voice that's far too critical. I should have done more with my life. I wish I hadn't said that. I wasted time. Why didn't I take better care of my body? These thoughts come creeping in when you're alone, and they can be ruthless. But imagine speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend who feels that way. Would you shame them? Or would you say, you did your best. You were human. And that was enough. You deserve that same kindness. Every wrinkle on your face tells a story. Every scar, every ache, every white hair is proof that you've lived, that you've loved, that you've endured. And that deserves honor, not shame. Look at yourself in the mirror each morning and offer a word of kindness. Even if it feels awkward at first, say, you're still here, and you still matter. One more thing to consider is creating moments of beauty. Beauty heals. It uplifts. And it reminds you that the world still holds magic, even in the smallest details. Set a flower in a vase. Light a candle. Rearrange photos of your favorite memories. Make a small corner in your home a joy nook, a chair, a lamp, a few books, and a view, if possible. A space just for peace and reflection. And don't forget music. Play songs from your youth. Sing, even if it's off-key. Dance slowly if your body allows it. Let sound bring you back to your most vibrant memories. Music is one of the only things that touches every part of the brain. It activates emotion, memory, movement, and joy. Finally, remind yourself every day, you are not invisible. You are not forgotten. Your presence is still sacred, even if no one calls, even if the room is quiet, even if the world feels far away. There is still light in you. There is still life in you. And there is still so much more of you to give, not to others alone, but to yourself. As we bring this message to a close, I want to leave you with one of the most powerful truths you can carry. Your life still holds value, even if no one is currently clapping for you. In youth, we're surrounded by applause, birthdays, graduations, achievements, anniversaries. But as time moves forward, the crowds grow thinner. The noise fades. And what we're left with is the quiet hum of our own existence. But that hum is not meaningless. That is the sound of persistence. That is the sound of a life still unfolding. In solitude, you begin to hear the whispers of your truest self. And in that space, you may just discover something unexpected. Your own company can be a kind of peace you never had before. No one to impress. No deadlines to chase. Just you, alive, present, still becoming. So what should you do when there's no one left by your side? You love yourself harder. You pour warmth into your own cup. You cherish the memories without letting them steal your today. You honor the people you've lost by living with dignity and gentleness in the life you still have. You become your own sanctuary. But that doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you approach life on your terms now. You reach out not from desperation, but from a place of hope. You find little ways to weave yourself into the fabric of the world again, one quiet thread at a time. Some of the most beautiful things on earth go unnoticed. The sound of snow falling, a single tree blooming in an empty field, the slow turning of seasons. You are like those things now. Gentle, subtle, but still remarkable. You can also use this time to think about your legacy in the world, and I don't just mean material things or a written will. I mean the emotional fingerprint you leave behind. How you made people feel, the kindnesses you offered, the values you held firm, the wisdom you carried. Make peace with your past. Make friends with your solitude. Make joy out of simple things. Because those simple things, your morning walk, your handwritten notes, your soft humming while cleaning, your quiet smile at the world outside, those are the building blocks of a beautiful life, even if no one else sees them. And if you're ever overwhelmed by the weight of it all, by the silence, by the emptiness, by the ache, breathe. One slow, steady breath. And remind yourself, this too shall pass. Feelings come and go like clouds. But your soul, that quiet, wise part of you, it stays. And it's still strong, even after all you've seen. Especially after all you've seen. You are the elder now. The one who has endured, outlasted, and survived more than most can imagine. You are the final pillar of your generation. And in that role, you have something precious to offer, your presence. The world may not say it enough, but I will say it now. Thank you for existing. Thank you for holding on. Thank you for your courage even when no one noticed. You may be walking this road alone for now, but your steps still echo with meaning. You may sit quietly in your room, but the wisdom inside you fills that space with silent strength. You may feel forgotten, but you are not gone. Not yet. And while you're still here, the light in you still matters. So, what do you do when there's no one left by your side? You become your own companion. You choose to live with grace. You find beauty in little things and peace in gentle routines. You write your story, not for others, but to remember that it mattered. That you mattered. And you keep going. Not because someone is watching. Not because someone told you to. But because this is your life. And even now, it is still yours to live.